What's going on, guys? How we all doing today? It's Corey here, back with another commentary on the Carnage Clan channel, and today we have for you guys a very nice Modern Warfare 3 gameplay. This gameplay is brought to you by Carnage Zoza, and it's a solo triple MOAB on the map Lockdown. And the funny thing is, this is 6v6, obviously, because it is on Lockdown, and typically you'll see solo triple MOABs mostly in Ground War, because when there's 9 players on the other team, you can play cautiously while also getting a lot of kills. But in 6v6, if you're going to get enough kills to even think about a triple MOAB, you're going to have to do quite a lot of rushing around. To even get 70 kills specialist, that's a feat in itself in 6v6. But to do it while rarely ever dying and getting 3 24 kill streaks with your gun, that's pretty nice. And he was having to deal with some campers in this gameplay, because you'll see at the beginning of the video, he takes out a couple of guys from behind who were just camping in their own spawn. And that's something that does tend to happen on 6v6, because in Ground War, a lot of the people that play 9v9 play it just because they're enthusiastic about the fast-paced action. And most of those people do like to play the objective, although obviously people abuse the objective in every game type. But in 6v6, you see a particularly large amount of people abusing the objective, because the people that want to camp flags, they think, oh, well, I'm not going to play Ground War because that has Team Deathmatch and kill confirmed. I just want to play Domination. So if they just want to play Domination, they play regular 6v6 to just play it non-stop. And a lot of those people, as I said, like to just abuse the objective. Some people even sit in their own spawn and defend the home flag without ever thinking about capturing a second flag for their team. They'll just leave the B flag, oh whatever, the whole game. They'll lose 200 to 100 and just stay in their spawn the whole time. So although there were some people that seemed to have that mentality in this gameplay, they were fortunately pretty bad as well, and obviously Zoza's a pretty beast player. He has the gun skill, he's got the map awareness, and that's why he's got the triple MOAB. It's a pretty elusive achievement. Give him credit for attaining it, and definitely show him some support for this gameplay. Go over to his channel and subscribe. Be sure to let him know that this is an awesome gameplay. But anyway, guys, I'm going to get into my commentary topic now, and I'm just going to say straight up, in my last video, I was a little bit tense. Not tense like nervous, but just tense like I was trying hard to sound official in a way, and that's something that people caught on to. And it's not really like that was so much my mindset, but I was just trying my best to give a good first impression, because that's important when you're exposing yourself to a bigger audience for the first time. So now I'm going to kind of adjust my commentary style, because some of you said you'd like to hear me more casual. And straight up, this is just going to be a one-take commentary. Well, actually, I can't lie to you, I did mess up on the first take when I was explaining the gameplay, but, you know, we're just going to go through this very smoothly, and I'll just talk casually, as a lot of you guys suggested, and tell you this pretty interesting story about my neighbors across the street. So a few years back, I was hoping that my aunt and uncle would actually move into the house across the street when it was for sale. I was about 10 or 11, so to have your aunt and uncle, who are pretty fun people, move in across the street, I thought that would be great. As it turned out, they moved in a couple of towns away to some other house. They had moved out of their apartment for the first time and found a pretty nice house. So that was good for them. But instead of my aunt and uncle moving in across the street, some Turkish people moved in, which I found to be pretty interesting. Again, being a younger kid, to have some people from a foreign country move in, I thought that was really cool. So, you know, of course it turned out to be pretty interesting indeed, because, you know, there are some pretty weird things that I'm going to explain to you in this video. Not weird so much, but just, you know, when people come from a foreign country, they're not familiar with the way things work in their new living environment. And obviously, if someone comes from somewhere in Eastern Europe or maybe South Asia or something, they come to America and things are completely different, and they really don't know how things work. So that's kind of what it was like with this Turkish family. They run a business of their own that involves painting houses, and the first thing that they did when they came to America was they painted their house a bright blue and yellow color to support their favorite soccer team, or football team if you are so offended by the term soccer. But anyway, that has since changed. They've turned their house to a more normal color because they realized that, well, that's not quite how things work. We don't paint our house really bright colors, although you can do that if you want, and I see some nice looking houses that are pretty bright. But you get the point. Usually people don't paint their houses so bright, and that's why they've since changed the paint on their house. But that was the first thing that showed you that, well, these people are pretty new to the country, or at least to the area. But, you know, we knew they were Turkish, so obviously they're new to the country as well. But anyway, the first time that we went trick-or-treating, you know, the first Halloween after they moved in, we went trick-or-treating at their house. And even being only 10 or 11 years old, I knew, okay, these people are probably not going to know what's up with Halloween, because it's a pretty random holiday if you think about it. So I guess when they first had people come to their house trick-or-treating, you know, at the beginning of the whole trick-or-treating celebration or whatever, you know, as they had the first few people come by and say trick-or-treat, and they said, oh, well, sorry, we don't really know about this. We don't have candy, sorry. But then they were like, hey, these people aren't going to stop coming, so we have to get something for them. So what did they do? They straight up took marshmallows out of a bag and handed them out individually to people, you know, unwrapped, melty and sticky, and oh boy, it was a mess. But hey, you can't blame them. They didn't know any better. They had no way of knowing any better. But, you know, I took the marshmallow, you know, tried to, you know, say thank you as graciously as I could, and my mom said, you know, just put the marshmallow in your trick-or-treat bag and we'll throw it out when we get home. But obviously that was pretty funny, and again, you can't blame them. They were new to the country. They didn't know what was up with Halloween. So the next thing that happened was that they had a yard sale for like 2 weeks straight. Now, if you don't know, you need a permit to have a yard sale on your front lawn. You have to, because essentially it's like running a business. It isn't really a business, of course, but it's a way of making money. You know how everything has to be on record and all that. So you have to have a permit to do a yard sale, and they did a yard sale without a permit for like a week and a half straight. And, you know, if you do have a permit, I'm pretty sure it's only a one-day thing. So, you know, there you go. But people eventually reported it, and they had to pack up. But anyway, we're starting to run low on time, and I actually had to redo this part of the commentary, to be honest with you, to be a little bit quicker. But I'm just going to tell you straight up, this Turkish family, they sometimes lose track of their kids. A lot, actually. And they'll come up and down the street asking if anyone's seen them. Well, a couple of months back, their 6 or 7-year-old, and yes, he was 6 or 7, not like 3 or 4, he was at least 6 years old. He was standing in their driveway, next to their car, completely naked. Now, obviously, I'd say this really is their fault. What kind of adjustment are you making? Like, clearly this has nothing to do with where they're from. At least I would highly doubt it, unless there's some amazing explanation to this. But, you know, I guess they just have a very hard time keeping track of their kids. But anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Again, be sure to subscribe to Zoza, and also be sure to subscribe to Carnage for more Beast Call of Duty content. And anyway, that's it for this video, so I'll see you all later on. Goodbye.